So many of you will be familiar with the options that we offer when we start to practice. The idea that the words that I speak are just simply support and guidance for you. And there's no obligation to follow these words if they don't suit you at this time. And you always have choice and control in any of these meditations where you can simply decide to stop and have a cup of tea, or you can decide to open your eyes if they have been closed, or you might decide to not focus on the breath if the breath is not helping you. Sometimes in mindfulness, what we deliberately do is we turn towards the difficult. And this is not because we want to be hard on ourselves or to beat ourselves up, but instead it's more discovering where our edge is in terms of what's comfortable for us, and learning to live a little bit more skillfully at the edge of our comfort zone. This can be a very useful skill to develop, because on any given day, not everything is going to go our way. People may disappoint us. There may be traffic jams. There may be emails that aren't responded to. Family or friends who don't quite go along with the way we see things. Or we might have health challenges, physical challenges, psychological or emotional challenges as well. So it's really helpful, if you feel up to it, to actually sit sometimes with the real difficulties, whether they are about feeling a sense of dissatisfaction, or maybe a kind of a background sense of guilt about what should be achieved or what should be done, and maybe for one reason or another we're not doing it. But to do such work, it's always a good idea to first ground ourselves in a rooted sense of the body, supported by the ground beneath us. So right now, having a sense of the feet in contact with the floor. The body in contact with the chair or perhaps the bed. And on an out breath, registering the full weight of the body. Just encouraging the body to sink that little bit deeper into the floor or the chair, the cushion, or the bed. And maybe on an in-breath, lifting up the shoulders towards the ears. And on an out-breath, letting them fall back down again, and just seeing if there's any sense of weight perhaps being let go as we do that. Finding some reassurance too in the physical space that you find yourself in. So if you have your eyes closed, you could open them momentarily and just do a kind of visual check around the room. Maybe focus on some objects that are personal to you or that give you a sense of ease or pleasure. And once you feel that you are safely grounded or as grounded as you can be for now, the invitation and the choice is there once again to close the eyes, or if keeping them open, maybe to have soft gaze. And then meeting the breath wherever you find it in the body. And as best you can, accompanying the breath for a little while as it journeys in and out of the body. Regarding the breath as a source of nourishment. And treating each time that the mind wanders away from the breath as an opportunity to build the mindfulness muscle, as it were, by coming back to the breath or the sense of the body supported by the floor and the chair. The more the mind wanders, the more opportunities we get to tame the mind, to bring it back, to aim the attention and sustain it, if only for a moment. And then, if you're up for it, but only if you're up for it, considering something that is unresolved for you, something that's current in your life right now. Which could be something very small, a minor irritation, or something more all-encompassing, like a feeling of dissatisfaction, boredom, guilt, worry, sadness, and not choosing anything that would be pushing you a little bit too far right now. Maybe just taking something in a small measure. The wonderful American teacher Tara Brach talks about a very common sense of people feeling unworthy, not completely measuring up. To what? To their own standards of how they think they should be. Sometimes that sense of unworthiness is mixed up with guilt or a sense of shame, perhaps. And it often shows up when people give us a compliment that we can't take. So we deflect the compliment by saying, oh, it was nothing. Or maybe we get invited to take on a new challenge or something, and we can't understand why we have been recognized or chosen in this way. Because maybe there's that sense of unworthiness, that sense of not being good enough. And the invitation now is to sit with the breath, with the sensations of the body as the supporting anchors. But to consider those kind of not being good enough feelings are those lists of shoulds, things I must do, things I should have done, as invitations to wake up about ourselves. Beginning to notice what kind of stories, what kind of narratives are we telling ourselves about ourselves in our lives. And it's certainly true that, particularly when we're younger, that other people can hurt us and maybe um, encourage us to doubt ourselves. As we get older, It's important for us to take responsibility for the thoughts we ourselves are having about ourselves. And all of those perfectionistic tendencies that many people have nowadays, those feelings of not measuring up, feeling inferior, maybe comparing ourselves negatively to others, painful as they may be, they can, if we like, be transformed into opportunities to accept ourselves just as we are. So each moment of not accepting, each moment of self-criticism is not unlike the mind wandering away from the breath. We're given an opportunity to train the mind by bringing it back to the breath. And so every time we notice that there is a self-critical thought, of putting ourselves down, holding on to a negative belief about ourselves, we are, if we have enough awareness, repeated opportunities to forgive, allow, accept, make friends with the moment, make friends with ourselves in all our glorious imperfection and perfection. So as we take a few moments of silence now, if you'd like to go deeper and sit with what is alive for you in terms of the thoughts or the beliefs that you carry around about yourself. It may be that those thoughts and beliefs show up in terms of tension in the body, some sense of holding, some sense of finding it hard to let go. Just being curious, but also being kind as you explore within. So as we come close to the end of the meditation, just checking in that you're sitting with yourself with some tenderness, some kindness towards yourself. The world has enough clever people. We're still looking for kindness, and we start with ourselves. I'm going to read a poem by a gentleman who has an interesting name, Albert Hofstadter, and the poem is called The Cure. We think we get over things. We don't get over things. Or say we get over the measles, but not a broken heart. We need to make that distinction. The things that become part of our experience never become less a part of our experience. How can I say it? The way to get over a life is to die. Short of that, you move with it. Let the pain be pain. Not in the hope that it will vanish, but in the faith that it will fit in, find its place in the shape of things, and be then not any less pain, but true to form. Because anything natural has an inherent shape and will flow towards it. And a life is as natural as a leaf. That's what we're looking for. Not the end of a thing, but the shape of it. Wisdom is seeing the shape of your life without obliterating, getting over a single instant of it.